Hello everybody, how you doing? We're down the stretch of the last week of September. We got to make it happen. This is a great week for selling. So get out there and be sure it happens. One of the things I want to talk to you about just real briefly is closing. Nothing happens, salespeople, until you close something. Nothing happens for you. Nothing happens for your client. Nothing happens back at the manufacturing plant, wherever it is. I mean, we can trace this thing all the way back to a lumberjack out in Oregon who cuts a tree. But we got to be closers. We have to finish. I mean, we see football teams that can't finish. We see golfers that can't finish. We see salespeople that can't finish. I had the pleasure of being in front of a group in Canada that's a franchise of about 34 franchisees last week. And the owner there had some fabulous data. He had the closing ratios of all the salespeople within the organization, and he kept the first time closes, like first sit closes or whatever you want to call them, one call, and then he had their overall closing percentage. And I believe the highest difference between the first call and the overall close was like 4%. 4%. So what that said to us is, wouldn't it pay to push just a little bit harder? Wouldn't it pay to be a little bit more professionally aggressive? Don't we realize that if we don't help people get what they want the first time, we're likely they're not going to get it? I found out in real estate, I'd heard this, but I experienced it firsthand. The first offer you get on a house is normally your best offer. Can sometimes be the only offer you get for a long, long time, which was true in my case. It's also true in my neighbor's case right now. So if we worked a little harder to help that person get what they want, I mean, you think about it, if a closing ratio is 30% on a one-call close, and all your other closes come to a total of 34%, don't you think you could pick up at least that? Being a little bit more professionally aggressive. Now, when I finished my talk in Canada the other day, this guy says, "Hey, you're too high pressure for me." Well, number one, you adapt yourself to the client that you're with. If somebody's real timid, then you're real timid in your sales approach. But I asked this guy, I said, "What percentage of your calls or one call closes?" He said, "Between 5 and 10%. And I was unable to convince him that that's the culture that he brings into the home. When my wife and I call you, I'm telling you, we've called you to buy something unless you convince us otherwise, be it by your lack of knowledge, lack of whatever it is. We don't call people just to shoot the breeze. Most people don't. I've said it a number of times. Trust me, people ain't sitting around tonight and say, let's call a salesperson and aggravate them. They've called you because they want to buy. Would you help them buy? And they're saying a little bit, push me, push me. When you get out there and close something, nothing happens till you sell something. The whole economy stops till you sell something. Get out there and make it happen. Talk to you next week. Take care.